Hi everyone, I'm Grahtles, and welcome to a new episode of City Skylines. This is Kyntre Islands, and if you're new to my channel and you don't know what I do Let's Plays, tutorials, tips, tricks on City Skylines, and if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those good things. Anyway, last time we left off, we put in a brand new neighborhood. We did European suburbia, so that's pretty nice. I like the look of that. And in between the highway and the European suburbia, I thought this would make a great central location for a college campus. And right now I think we only have the trade school, so we'll have to do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So before I go ahead and start that college campus, I was giving this highway a look, and I'm not too sure I want it the way it is. So before I make things that are pretty permanent, I mean nothing's permanent in this game, you can delete everything, but you don't want to do that once you get, all your things filled in. So I want to make sure I'm completely satisfied and happy with it. So I went ahead and buy the tile adjacent to it, and I'm gonna straighten out this highway and fix it up just a little bit to get things just the way I would like them. So here I'm just going to use some gravel roads to get some measurements to make sure that my college campus is pretty well even on both sides. I want this to be like a rectangle, and I want it pretty neat and clean. So you'll see me using a lot of these gravel roads just to use as guidelines, just to mark some measurements. Here I'm just going to use a gravel road behind my commercial road, just because I'm going to terraform this and I want it to the same height, and I'm going to smooth out the edges just so it's not a big fall down. But if you use a gravel road, it kind of gives you a nice guideline to keep your buildings on the same level, and that's what I did there. So now I'm just going to smooth this whole edge out. So now I'm just placing a 4-lane behind here. I want this 4-lane to go all the way around my whole campus. Campuses, especially when you put in sports, can draw a lot of traffic, and I need a good solid road around the whole area just to make sure the traffic will go a little bit smoother. So that's why you'll see me putting in the 4 lanes around the whole area. Here I'm starting to put back my roundabout, and I'm trying to make things a lot more even than it was the last time. It really bothered me that the roundabout underneath was not centered properly, and so I decided to redo that whole thing. Now I thought about taking out the roundabout and putting in a different highway exit, but it was working for me. So as long as it's working for me, I'm gonna leave it alone. So I'm gonna just recreate it and make it a lot more even. Now another thing to pay attention to is my game is paused because my highways aren't hooked up. So the first thing I wanted to do was get these highways hooked up so I can get to making money again, because as you can see, my money is quite tight. So I want to make sure that I start making money again, and you can't start really making money again until you turn the game back on. So I couldn't do that with the highways not connected. So the first thing you really want to do is get your highways back connected, so this way you can start running your game again and making some money. Also, when making this new highway, I decided to make these off-ramps really long and then have a couple of different on and off ramps. So this way they have options. They can go all the way down to the end, or they can come right into the campus. They can even go into the residential area now or get out of the residential area. This is to also help with your traffic. If they have multiple ways to get on and off, they will use the quickest. So if you have multiple ways on and off, they'll use them. Now coming down on this side of the highway, things get a little tricky. I know, it looks crappy. I can't do anything about it. Right now we don't have that tile open, and so I have to just make do with what I have. Eventually, once we open the tile to the island, I'll be able to run this highway a lot better. It looks really bad. It functions, but it's just not what should be there. So yeah, so just pay no mind to that. Just make sure it functions, and once I get that tile open, we will rework that whole side. So yeah, pay no mind to that. So now I had to do a little bit of something different here, and I did not like the way the traffic was building up. So I decided to just play with it and do a different on-off ramp. And yeah, you'll see how that gets reworked and the traffic runs a lot smoother. Here we just hit the milestone of small city. So we're almost ready for our administration building. But I like to do things a little bit different. I'm first measuring out to get the center. Second, I would like the administration building to be a little bit on a hill. I want it up and above. I want to be able to see it from the residential area from across the highway, just to make it look a little bit more pristine, whatever you want to call it. It's pristine. But yeah, I want to make this up on a little bit of a hill. So I'm just measuring out the center, and I'm coming out by 1 on both sides. And then I'm going to terraform this area. Now, it took me a little while to figure out just exactly how I wanted to do this, but eventually I get it, and I get it the way I want it. So this is not exactly the flat space, because like before, when I measured it out before on the other side, I actually sloped it down. And over here, I'm just trying to get a certain height, and then I keep spreading it out more and more. So you'll see as the footage goes on, but yeah, eventually I get it to exactly what I want, and it works out quite nice. As you can see here, I'm still using those gravel roads. They work phenomenal as markers. So if you need a certain size or a certain placement, they're great to add in just to mark your spot. So, and they're cheap. You can delete them, not a big deal. So, and you do get refunded for them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, they are a perfect thing to use for measuring and placing. Next, we're going to paint the area. I did this 8 times speed because everybody knows that I stink at painting, but I really tried this time to make it like perfect, and it took me forever. But it did come out really nice. I did paint it right along the roads, and it looks quite good. So now we're just about ready to place the administration building, and I just kind of level it off back here so it doesn't drop down, and I place it right in the center. So I think it came out really good. Actually, I could see it from the other neighborhood, which was my goal from the beginning, to make it look pristine. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Next, we're gonna run the water, run some electric, and just smooth the area out. So more electric is in demand, so I just replaced that oil with an updraft, and that took care of the problem. So before we move ahead, I'm going to place a lot of walking paths. I want the residents on this side as well as the other side of the highway to be able to get to the college by walking as much as possible. This will definitely cut down on your traffic by a tremendous amount. You have no idea. It's amazing. They love walking paths and they love taking them. I wanted this to really look quite uniform and come across the area, and they just connect to some of the parks over there. Eventually what I may do is put in an actual park using the parks DLC on the other side, and then they'll pay admission to come through. So that's not a bad idea later on to make some money in your city, have them come right across through a path and connect to the college by using the parks DLC. So a lot of this footage was really long. I mean, it probably took about 20 minutes to put all these walking paths in and everything else, and I just decided to 8 times speed this. I will get a better view of it later when we do our walkthrough and our overview of the city when we're done. But yeah, I tried to speed it up as much as possible because I know this episode is running quite long. So next we change the college name, and we also start adding our assets. So the first thing we get are dormitories, study hall, book club, and I believe the groundskeepers. We also get our career, which is I think the police academy. And yeah, so we're going to start placing them in one by one. So another thing I do is as I place assets down, I add walking paths. So the original walking paths are like a basic grid that I want to work off of. And then when we place buildings in, to get people moving more efficiently, we add to the walking paths by just, helping them get along a lot easier and a lot quicker. So another thing you want to do is to grant research for academic works. This helps your college to level up. So here's a nice view of the college campus. It just started. We got a lot of work to do still. And we actually did quite a lot of work today. We reworked the roads. We did the college campus. We put in all those roads. We changed the electric over. And yeah, I think it's working quite well. I like the area for it. I think it's very centrally located. Next episode, I think we got to get some public transportation in. Definitely buses. I'm not sure if I'm ready for metro just yet. The traffic seems to be flowing pretty good, but yeah, overall I think it's coming along nicely. So another City Skylines creator, Valley Lad Gaming, he suggested that we do some trams maybe up by our city center, and I'm definitely considering that. I'm going to probably look into that as well. And yeah, so if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, and share. And go check out Valley Lad Gaming. He's really good. And I'll link a description in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.